It's Saturday, May 11th, 2019, and I want to share my plans for van life as of today. These plans can change at any time, but this is where I am right now. Before I do that, I want to reveal something. I have named my van, the van that you never see, which I at some point will probably show, but I'm not comfortable doing that right now. My new van is named ESP, as you might have guessed from the title. Um, I've thought of my van as my sleep pod for quite some time, and I've thought of it as my escape pod, especially this weekend when I've taken off from work and I've had a 4-day weekend. I've been off Thursday, Friday, and the rest of this weekend, and it's been my escape pod. I've gone further out, exploring areas around me here in Alaska, gone further than I normally go. This is Seward that you're seeing right now. And I've just been driving around and sort of boondocking away from the city. I'm more in the rural areas. But ESP stands for Escape Pod and Sleep Pod. I didn't want to just go with Escape Pod, and I didn't just want to go with Sleep Pod. But yeah, it's my Escape and Sleep Pod. So ESP is my van's name. I want to make this a very sustainable way of life for me. So far, so good. I really like it. It's getting really easy now. When I started out in the winter time. I did that on purpose because I figured, hey, if I can handle the winter, I can handle this lifestyle. And I've done camping before. I've done winter camping before. The van experience in the cold was different. Now it's warming up, and so I'm getting, idea of what it's like in the summer, and it's pretty easy. It's still cold sometimes at night, and but it's not it's like a piece of cake right now. So I started in February. I had my apartment, and I tried it out while I still had my apartment. In February, I was in and out of the van. I stayed in it most of the time, but I came in like a lot at first. I was tweaking things, getting different pillows, different blankets, I bought a few extra things and got rid of some things that weren't working. But on February 28th of this year, 2019, is when I turned in the keys to my apartment. And after that, March 1st onward, I was full time. I didn't, I was in my van most of the time from March 1st going on. I did spend a few nights in a hotel room here and there because I wanted to deep condition my hair and do some beauty stuff that I didn't feel comfortable doing at Planet Fitness or at the gym. And I also, took advantage of the time just to rest and relax and give myself a little mental break from trying to find parking at night. And I plan to keep doing that because I'm still saving money. I was a really cheap room. It wasn't that expensive. And there was a deal. So, I did that. I've done it just a few times. I haven't done that a lot. But I plan to do that occasionally. Rent hotel rooms when I want to take a break here and there. But I've also decided after doing the winter, February is pretty cold, although it's been mild this year here in Alaska, in Anchorage. I've decided that this next winter I'm going to get a short-term lease for the coldest months of the year. I'm going to do a 3-month lease for December, January, and February for sure. I think I'll be fine through November, but December, January, February. And I might do it for part of March, which will be a little bit more than 3 months. Not because of the cold, although it can get really cold in March, but because of the snow. Because it's hard to park with the snow plows. That's the huge thing. Finding parking at night when there's snowplow restrictions, that was the hardest part in the wintertime. So I might, do the lease until like April 15th, which is when the snowplows, you don't have to worry about parking after April 15th. So I might do it through there. And that will be, I think, what I'm going to do as long as I'm in this area. Eventually, my plan is to be more nomadic and drive, travel more of North America. I plan to travel Alaska and Canada and the lower 48, as we call it here in Alaska. We call the contiguous United States the lower 48. So I plan to drive around and explore, visit friends. I have a stable 9-to-5 job right now, which I am doing pretty well at, and I'm making a stable income, and I'm able to save from this job. And because of the fact that I'm cutting back on my expenses with this van life. My rent was really high, and I'm spending like a fraction of what I spent on rent every month, and I still put that in my savings account. I act like I'm still paying the same amount of rent that I used to pay, but the difference in what I save doing van life, I just put that difference into a savings account. So that, basically my expenses are pretty much the same. I've never been a big cook. I cook a little bit, but not that much. So the way I eat is pretty close to the same as I did in the apartment. I went out a lot. My eating costs have not gone up at all. In fact, if anything, I probably prepare a little bit more food in the van than I did in my apartment, which is kind of strange, but I do. Yeah. I had a gym membership anyway, so that's not a huge expense that's different for me. The one thing that is different is that I do have a storage unit, because even though I am trying to minimize more and more, I'm still not totally in the minimalist lifestyle. Obviously, there's only so much that can fit in the van, so I'm sort of forced to be a minimalist, but I still have stuff in storage. And my goal is to work through that storage bin and, pare things down to what I actually need. And the things that I don't need, they have to have like strong sentimental value for me. And honestly, after I moved from the apartment, I got rid of a lot of stuff. And as much as I got rid of, I still have a huge storage locker. But that's okay. I'm working on that. That's a process. But yeah, that's my plan. My plan is to pretty much live full time in my van and take 3-month breaks in the wintertime while I'm here. And I'm also working a freelance job that I have that I've been doing for a while, in addition to my stable 9 to 5. When that freelance job starts picking up and I start making more money, that'll allow me to be more nomadic and, travel more and quit my 9 to 5. I did at one time support myself totally with my freelance job, but then I stopped doing the freelance work and went to the 9 to 5. So I sort of have to build up that business again and get it back up and running. But it's a real possibility. So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on my internet-based freelance job, and I'm also working my 9 to 5, and I'm also working on padding my savings account so that I have my little buffer, financial buffer. But yeah, while I'm here, I'm going to do 3 months at least, a 3-month lease in the winter, and occasional stays in hotel rooms, as I feel like I need to take a mental break, and also just to do my own little personal spa day, do my deep hair conditioning, and, do my own, I like doing my own pedicures, manicures. I mean, just do little things just to relax, do my own little spa day, and get a mental break from the hassle of parking at night. That's the only problem I found with van life, is the parking, which is not that hard. I figured it out. I have a system, but it does get a little stressful, and so I think occasional breaks are good. In the wintertime, I just want to do that because of the cold. Not that I can't handle it, and not that I didn't handle it. I can do it. And, if I had a situation where that wasn't financially feasible for me to get a 3-month lease, then I could easily do it. But I prefer to do this in the winter, mainly because of the snowplows, and the parking in the winter is harder. Snowplows, there's a lot of restricted parking in the areas where I like to park. So, and also, you get stuck if you're on the side streets. So, yeah. So basically, that's where I am. I'm giving you my plans for van life going forward. Right now, I like the way I am right now. I like being a little bit anonymous for various reasons, partially because of my job, and partially for safety reasons. At some point, I might reveal more of myself, more of my van, more of my life. But right now, I just want to let people know that it can be done. You can do this van lifestyle, as many other YouTubers, I'm sure, have demonstrated. But yeah, so that's all I have for the vlog today. And I hope everyone has a good, happy rest of their day. Bye.